بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. The 29th juz', so filled with warning, so filled with the feeling of no God, because there's no safety except for with God. Subhanallah, subhanallah. Okay, I want to just get my English going here. I had it, but I moved it. There we go. So it starts, the whole section 29, starts with تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. I think this is a very fitting beginning to the section. It is blessed, Tabarak, blessed is the one in whose hand is dominion and who is over all things competent. The English does not at all do justice to the meaning. Tabarak الذي بيده الملك, يعني Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of all things. وهو على كل شيء قدير, and he is over all of these things fully in control. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is God. This is the one we've been worshiping all month. This is the one we've been asking for forgiveness from all month. This is God who has created us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has helped us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's blessed us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's opened the doors for us. Surah Al-Mulk, the first surah in verse 20, in the section 29 of the Quran. And so we enter into this section that is very clear about God. It is a section that calls on us to be clear about who God is, to worship God and God alone, and to recognize that worship is what is necessary for us to go to Jannah. It's a section that talks about the Day of Judgment. It's very visual. And if you continue on this page and we go to verse 8, yes, verse 8, we have a very visual, a very scary visual about the lack of belief. تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزانتها ألم يأتكم نذير. Yani it's visual, and it says hellfire almost bursts with rage. Every time a group of people is thrown into it, its keepers ask them, did there not come to you a warner? It's almost like hellfire doesn't want to have anyone in it. It's almost like hellfire does not want people in it. Angry with the people that found themselves in it. Didn't Allah send you a warner? What is wrong with you? Didn't Allah send you a warner? And they answer, قالوا بلى. Yes. Yes. They answer yes. قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء. Yes, indeed, a warner came to us. But we gave him the lie, we denied him. And we said, Allah didn't send anything. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. You're in great error. That's what they said. And so they find themselves. And then, of course, they regret it and they lament it. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير. If only we had been listening or thinking, we wouldn't be in this place of fire. And so as we leave Ramadan, and I know that for many of you in these last hours of Ramadan, some of you are saying, Alhamdulillah, what a beautiful month. And some of you are saying, oh man, I didn't do what I should have done. I should have done more. I want you to just be two things. I want you to remind yourself that in fasting, you are of the ones who listened and obeyed. In fulfilling your farad, you are of those people. So you are of those who listened. So alhamdulillah, and you are of the blessed. Inshallah, you are of the believers with the great reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to in verse 12. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ لَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ وَأَجْرٌ كَبِيرٌ. Indeed, those who have khushu'. So khushu', يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُم. Not khushu', sorry, يَخْشَوْنَ. Those who fear their Lord, unseen, بالغيب, in the unseen. لهم مغفرة أجر كبير. They will have forgiveness and great reward. So in fasting, you became of those who have forgiveness and a great reward. And you were not of those who didn't pay attention to the Prophet ﷺ. And if anyone, by any chance, I don't know why you would click on me to listen to me, but if anyone by any chance has been this month not in obedience, so distant from Allah, or maybe that's how you were a few months ago, remember that it is only in the listening and the obeying that we find the beauty. And hellfire doesn't want us. It's not like Western literature where you've got good and evil fighting and they both want to take you. No. Allahu Akbar, Allah is great. Shaitan isn't here. He's not here to whisper to us. And we, inshallah, have been of those who listened. And inshallah, we've been of those who've grown in this month. Ay wallah. And we are, inshallah, of the blessed, of those who are لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. Ajr is a reward. Ajr is a reward. And it's kabir, this enormous ajr. If we continue, verse 23. We're reminded of who is God. And these surahs are all about this, like who is God? Where are we? قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. I wanted to point out this verse for a couple of reasons. One is that, first of all, obviously the very obvious meaning of it, which is that God is telling us, قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us and made for us our hearing and our seeing. And then there's the third thing, wal afidan. If those of you who have been with me the whole month, you remember, or maybe those of you who are attending the virtual masjid, you know that we've talked about the afida, the fu'ad. The fu'ad is the outside of the heart. It's all those feelings, all those things we need to live our lives, to have feelings, but also that's our hoe and our desire. Everything on the outside of the heart is things that can block the heart or can open up to the inner heart. And the inner heart, the qalb, is the place that we've been working on all month to fill with the belief of God, fill with faith, fill with the light of faith, fill with love and light, right there in the inner heart, love and light. And yet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but this afidah, this thing on the outside, we need it. We need this. That's how it gives us our emotions. That's why if you have trauma as a child and you feel like you can't show, you don't have emotions, or if you have trauma in life and you're struggling to access your emotions, that's the afidah. You want it because those emotions are good. They help you. Grief helps you. Look at Yaqub, who had grief. Grief helps you. Grief helps us get down into the heart. Love helps us. Loving our children helps us get into our heart. Look at Musa, the mother of Moses. But at the same time, these outer feelings can take us in the wrong place. Just like our eyes and our ears can take us to the wrong place. And so we want to go deeply down to our heart and fill our heart with light and love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the question about what would you tell someone who's autistic who tries to explain their intentions but are seen as justifying their wrong, when in reality it's because of a lack of awareness. What would I say? I would say that I would say please send me an email. That's what I would say. Send me an email so I can respond to that appropriately and give it the time that it deserves. Okay? All right. So now let's continue My email address is anse@rabata.org. Now we go to the next surah. The next surah is Surah Al-Qalam. Ay wallah. La ay wallah amanja min Allah illa ilayh. There's no going from God except for to God. And now this beautiful surah begins where God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, swears by the pen. I find this very significant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He swears by something, is making it significant. Noon wal qalami wa ma yasturun. By the pen and what they inscribe. And this pen is what we use to write. This pen is what we use to express our cultures, our words. In fact, the pen and the keyboard today, they are how we are communicating with our community. And it is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicated with us. And so the next part of this is to describe this beautiful man named Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was sent to us. And it says in verse 4, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. And indeed you are of a great moral character. This is about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I wanted to pause and say something here that I mentioned today in our convert session. We had a little convert session, but I want to mention it here just because I think it's valuable for everyone to think about this. One of the parts of our faith is to believe and love the Prophet, believe in and love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And many times in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in fact, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is really clearly laying out the facts that God is God is laying out the structure, thank you, that's the word I wanted, wherein we are to love the Prophet ﷺ and reminding us who he is. And he says, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. So we know that we should be following him. But I just want to talk here a little bit about loving him, loving the Prophet ﷺ. I'm a convert, for those of you who, I'm sure you already all know that. I'm a convert, and when I came to Islam, I came from Christianity, and I came from a place of evangelism and worshiping Jesus as very much part of the Trinity. And one of the reasons I came to Islam is because I struggled with that. I didn't want to worship a man. I wanted to worship God without gender. And so when I came to Islam, that was a beautiful part of Islam for me. And then when it came to loving the Prophet ﷺ, and I read the hadith and read the verses of Quran that told me that loving the Prophet ﷺ was part of our faith, I struggled. I struggled because I had been in Christianity and I didn't really know how to move from what I had there to what I had here. And I learned some things along the way that I wanted to share with all of you in case anyone is struggling with this. And one of the things I want to share is there is a very big difference between worship and love. And I learned that it wasn't wrong when I was a Christian to love Isa. In fact, we should love him, Isa, alayhi salam, or even his mother Maryam. We should love her. What was wrong was worship. And I, as a human being, am very clear in my head about the difference between worship and love. I don't have any problem in the rest of my life differentiating between worship and love with any human being. And so there's no reason why I should have a problem differentiating between worship and love when it comes to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I should be able to love him and increase my love for him and increase my love for him and increase my love for him without having any stress or worries about worship, because I know the difference. And so, I have more to say about how we can identify that love and things like that. But maybe that's for another time, another class. Come to rabata.org. But I did want to just point out that the love of the Prophet ﷺ is not the worship of the Prophet ﷺ. And so be confident and be strong in the idea that we want to work on our hearts. We want our fu'ad and our qalb to love the Prophet ﷺ and really understand who he was and how he gave his life for this religion and everything he did for us and how to truly love him. Okay? So let's go on then to verse 29, same surah. Oh, I went too far. Verse 29. All right. There is a there is a, actually I'm going to go ahead just because of time. I'm going to go ahead because that was a little story. I'm not going to tell that story right now. Go ahead to Surah Al-Haqqa. And here again with Surah Al-Haqqa, what are we looking at? We are looking at the Day of Judgment. We're looking at, again, those visuals, the truth of what we need to believe. The first surah was about God. تبارك الذي بيده الملك. The second one was about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The third one now is about the Day of Judgment. Al-Haqqa. This inevitable reality. Okay. And so we're being brought into our mind, into aqeedah, our heart, into aqeedah. And there's much in this surah about the Day of Judgment, but again, the whole Day of Judgment is a class, and that's an aqeedah class. But I do want to go to 34 here. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing the loser, not the person of falah. We've talked a lot about the person of falah this month as we investigated the Quran, what the Quran says about the people who are up falah. Excuse me. But here in this verse, we're talking about those who have lost because كَانَ لَا يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ الْعَظِيمِ, those who are disbelievers. So they lost because of that. 33, verse 33, they didn't believe. And look what happens right next. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, nor did they feed the poor. Yani, that is, subhanAllah, like when you boil it down, where is selfishness? When we can see someone hungry and hide our very food. And we can't, and it challenges belief. So, subhanAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those instead, who are truly those who feed others and take care of others and are generous. Verse 48, same surah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing the Quran. And I think it's always important to point that out. وَإِنَّهُ لَتَذْكِرَةٌ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And indeed, the Quran is a reminder, is a dhikr, is a reminder, is a remembrance, is that which reminds us of these beautiful things that we believe and know. But who does it remind? Al-Muttaqeen. And so congratulations to all of you who have fasted this month. You have, inshallah, become of the Muttaqeen, because Siyam, fasting, builds taqwa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. So, inshallah, you've become of the Muttaqeen, and therefore, this Quran is going to be a reminder for us all, and a help to us all. Maybe that's why at the end of the month, it's easier for us to sit quietly with the Quran and understand it than it was in the beginning of the month, because we have more taqwa. The next surah, Al-Ma'arij. Al-Ma'arij. Say it correctly. Now, here, what are we talking about? What does it start with? سأل سائل بعذاب واقع للكافرين ليس له دافع. So sometimes the people would come to the Prophet ﷺ and they'd be like, oh fine, if there's a punishment, let it happen. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. And I was actually talking about this today too with somebody else, that this is a real problem of modern day belief, that somehow we think that belief and a relationship with God is like a cartoon. I've known people who they're losing faith, and so they make little sins. It's almost like they're testing God. They do little sins to see, am I going to be struck by lightning? Is something bad going to happen? And when it doesn't, they just keep on going. They don't understand. We don't work with God like a cartoon. If you step outside without your hijab, let's say you're mutahajjib, you've been mutahajjib for 10 years, okay? And then you're just struggling, and you're struggling, your life is struggling, and so you want to test God. So you step outside the house without your scarf for 10 minutes and you go back in and lightning didn't strike you. That's not the way it works. That's not the way we interact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't make little tests of God. No. Ya Latif, this is what is talking about. Are we asking for the punishment to come to us? A'udhu billah. Certainly not. Certainly not. No, the way we work with God, the way we interact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is knowing and trusting Him. Trusting and knowing that what we do of good is for us and what we do of not good is against us. It is funny even, but it's not funny for the person. Like when I see this happening, I see it happening. And it's sad, really. But the way that we are to look at this, verse 4. This is a little bit about the Day of Judgment, but of course we don't know the secrets of the Day of Judgment, but we should just read it because it's so powerful. تعرج الملائكة والروح إليه في يوم كان مقداره 50,000 سنة. The angels and the Spirit will ascend to him during a day, the extent of which is 50,000 years. Imagine. فاصبر صبرا جميلا. So be patient, a beautiful patience. And really, we want patience is what we need. We need patience. And this is not patience as we talked about all month. This is the quiet. We want to be patient with Allah's orders. We want to be patient with our life. We want to be beautifully patient and loving. Fill our hearts with love and light. And live our lives with husn al-zan billah. Thinking well of God and expecting the beautiful blessings of God. Expecting that when we go outside and we see the most beautiful tree, there's a very beautiful tree outside my window that I'm looking at right now, with blooms that just burst, that one day they just burst open. We want to have husn al-zan billah. We want to look at that tree and want to say, wow, maybe that was for me. Umar radiallahu anh said we should be of those who, if we were told that everyone in the world is going to hellfire except for, if we were told that everyone in the world is going to heaven except for one person, we should say, oh no, is that me? And if we're told if everyone in the world is going to hellfire except for one person, we should say, maybe that's me. That's how we should live our life. Really, like with hope. Hope. Hope, but at the same time, not arrogance. Not, I'm fine. No, every day working harder. Every day working harder. Okay. There's so much to share here. Let's go to 31 in this verse, in this surah. Actually 32, because now we're talking about those who have reward again. Those are me and you, inshallah. الذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون. Those who are to their trusts and promises attentive, to take care of them. الذين هم بشهاداتهم قائمون. Who bear witness, they are upright. Inshallah, the way when you bear witness to your belief in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, you are qa'ima alayha. You stand upon it, and you stand upon it well. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. Those who take their prayers and take care of them. We protect them. What about, who are these people that we're talking about? أُولَٰئِكَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ مُكْرَمُونَ. They will be in gardens, honored. What a beautiful reward. All right, let's go to the next surah, Surah An-Nuh. Surah An-Nuh is also, it's so visual as well. Just the Nabi Nuh is his pain, really, his exhaustion and his pain. He says in verse 6, فَلَمْ يَزِدْهُمْ دُعَائِي إِلَّا فِرَارًا. My invitation to them, to his people, to Tawheed, didn't increase them in anything except in running away. Imagine how frustrating. But Nabi Noor never gave up. So we always should keep that in mind as well. There's a beautiful dua to say, verse 28, that we should all learn. The last verse. رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيَّ وَلِمَنْ دَخَلَ بَيْتِيَ مُؤْمِنًا وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ وَلَا تَزِدِ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا تَبَارًا. It's a very beautiful and important dua. And Jud, we should all learn this and say this after our prayers. Say this as often as we can. My Lord, forgive me and my parents. Ya Allah, Rabbi اغفر لي ولوالدي. Ya Allah, forgive me and forgive my parents. وَلِمَنْ دَخَلَ بَيْتِي. And Ya Allah, forgive those who have entered my house. وَلِمَنْ دَخَلَ بَيْتِيَ مُؤْمِنًا. Those who have entered my house a believer. And وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. And forgive, Ya Allah, the believing men and the believing women. وَلَا تَزِدِ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا تَبَارًا. This is an interesting part of the wrongdoer of this dua, which is, and don't increase the wrongdoers except in destruction. So whenever if we're making dua, we want to make dua for people. But we want, if somebody is fighting against us, like when we're talking about the Islamophobic machine, I always make dua that Allah guides them. Ya Allah guide them. But if it's not to be, if they're not going to be guided, then we don't want their help. We want them to be stopped. We want their computers to break and the roaches to come and the stuff like that, so that we want them to be increased in so that they are distracted and they stop fighting us. They don't have to join us. They can just don't fight us. Just don't fight us. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. I think that you can always make dua for your parents. Rabbi اغفر لي ولوالدي. When I made it just now, I was making dua for my parents. I was hoping that Allah will forgive my parents. They're such beautiful people. Allah hadiyun ila sirat al-mustaqim. Ameen. Okay, and the next surah is Surah al-Jinn. And it begins, I know that I'm over time already, so I'm going to go a little bit quickly. This begins with the story about the jinn and their belief and how they listened to the Prophet ﷺ. And how some of them, verse 11, is really knowledge that we need to know about the jinn. We need to learn about the jinn. Again, that's a class. Look at all the things we're being taught about in our belief system in this. We learned about Tawheed. We learned about the Prophet. We learned about the Day of Judgment. Now we're learning about the jinn, the creatures of the unseen world. وَأَنَّا مِنَ الصَّالِحُونَ وَمِنَّا دُونَ ذَلِكَ كُنَّ طَرَائِقَ قِدَدًا. And among us are the righteous, and among us are the not so, and we are divided. So there are among us those who are good, and among us those who are evil. And so we know this. We know the truth of this. Okay, just for time's sake, let's go to the next one, the next surah. Surah al-Muzammil. This is the beautiful surah that really reminds us about tahajjud. And because I just wrote an article about tahajjud, I will say, read my article about tahajjud that talks about these different verses and the role of tahajjud in the Prophet's life and in our lives. Okay, tahajjud, the prayer at night, which inshallah we have all gotten practice with in this month. And then Surah al-Mudaththir. Also, this is a surah about guidance, really, and about da'wah. So now we've got through all these things of aqidah. Now this is about work. Ya ayyuhal mudaththir, qum fa'anzir. Get up and warn. Get up and warn. And so things have changed now, right? Things have changed. Now it's time to guide and time to work. And we are all in this stage now. We should all be working hard for Islam in beautiful, beautiful ways. Don't be obnoxious with people. When people are in need, be there to be a help to them. It's a surah with many short verses, except for one longer verse. And I was going to read that part of that verse to you, but I feel like I'm in the wrong place. Yeah, and this so I wanted to read just a part of it, which is at the end. وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ وَمَا هِيَ إِلَّا ذِكْرَى لِلْبَشَرِ. No one knows the soldiers of God but Him. Allah knows His soldiers, who's helping, who's working in this world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send us help always and protect us from the soldiers that are sent down to those He's angry with. And my class about the companions includes men and women. It is not specifically about the wives of the Prophet. We do not study every single one, or we don't do it like that. But Dr. Zainab Alwani has just come out with a beautiful 9-part series about the wives of the Prophet. I highly recommend on her YouTube channel. In fact, I will post them somewhere. I shall post them on my Facebook page probably. And then Surah Al-Qiyamah, which speaks to us in, how much كلا بل تحبون العاجلة, how much we like everything to be in a hurry. But some things I have to be slow. Surah Al-Insan, talking about the human being. Very important, beautiful verses here. Again, the Quran and ibadah. نحن نزلنا عليك القرآن تنزيلا فاصبر لحكم ربك ولا تطع منهم آثما أو كفورا واذكر اسم ربك بكرة وأصيلا ومن الليل فاسجد له وسبحه بكرة fasting brain. So these verses are really important. They're all about how to live and where we get our strength from. And again, I talk about how we get our strength from tahajjud in that article, but also from the tasbih, from the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dhikr ismi rabbika, the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bukratan wa asila, in the morning, in the evening, and how much we need that. So alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, salatu wassalamu ala sayyidina al-mursaleen. Thank you so much for being with me all of these nights. I'll see you for the last discussion tomorrow. Reminder, if you have yet to become a monthly donor at rabata.kindful.org, get yourself over there. You want the benefit of Ramadan. It's still Ramadan. It's still a few hours of Ramadan. Donate and let that carry you. Let that monthly donation be something that carries Ramadan forward for you all year long. Okay? Also, you can register for classes at rabata.rabata.org. And sign up for Arabic, sign up for the Islamic classes, the Quran, all the beautiful classes. They're so beautiful. And they will carry forth all of this beauty, inshallah. And a reminder for tomorrow's Khutmah project. Join us there. Khatam, where we're going to make the dua of the completion of the Quran. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Last visit tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.